We're going to talk about a quote that I use often at NOM, and that is recovery. This is like my stress-based definition of recovery. Recovery is when you can learn to eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner and come out stronger. So when you learn to view stress as a meal to be had for breakfast, lunch, dinner. This is a quote from the Yogiji. And it struck me many years ago when I heard it. This concept of relating to stress, tension kake takda hona. So most people, what do they do with stress? What do most people do with stress? Take it inside. Drink, right?
Have it all the time.
Huh?
Have it all the time.
Have it all the time. Don't know what to do with it. Kind of lost, fuzzy head, right? Most people run away from it. Don't deal with it. The default is don't deal with your stress. And so, very different, right? Recovery is when you can eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner as a meal, so that you can to get stronger. So what that basically means is you don't just learn to reduce it. You don't just learn to ਅਸੀਂ ਸਿਰਫ stress ਘਟਾਉਣ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਾਇਦਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ. So we don't, if all we do in life is we avoid stress, or we stop doing anything that involves stress, such as taking risks. If we never take the risk, we'll never get married. Who knows what she's going to be like or what he's going to be like? If we don't take the risk, we'll never have children, because God knows what they're going to be like. If we never take the risks, we won't leave the bad job that we don't like, because maybe the next job may be worse. When you start avoiding stress, you start avoiding risk. And without risk, there's no life worth living. Stay in your bed, never get up. And you think there's no risk in that, but there is, of blood clots. Because blood clots form in your body when your blood's not moving. But you don't think about that when you're like laying in bed for like 2 weeks, depressed. Because that's a risk outside of your awareness. So life is risk. Life is also short. Life is risk. Life is also short. When you can learn to develop a different relationship with stress, such that you can eat it for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So how do we approach our food? Who likes food? You like your food?
Yeah.
I like my food. I eat a little muffin in the morning. I drink it with cha, or I eat it with cha, or chai, as they say in the West. Well, we call it cha. But places in India, they do call it chai, so I can't completely make fun of it. But I look forward to my breakfast every day.
It's the most important part of the day.
Most important part of the day. I look forward to my lunch. Tastes good. Prabjit makes it. It's awesome. I look forward to my dinner. At no point in my mind is it like, oh, I don't want to eat breakfast. Okay, yeah, if you have an eating disorder, this is, But for the vast majority of people who are not triggered by eating, we like to eat. We look forward to eating. Unless you have some trauma thing, right, around eating at a dinner table and family and stuff, that's different. Most of us, we like to eat. Why do we like to eat? Why do you guys like to eat? Why do all of you like to eat? Shout out some reasons why you like to eat. Okay, you like the taste. Okay? Energy. You know if you eat, gonna get stronger? Yeah. What else?
Survive.
You know if you don't eat, what's gonna happen? You get weaker. What other reasons do you eat?
Could be a social thing.
Social thing. You can interact with people in a certain way, build bonds. It's a good social activity. What else? It's a pretty... Come on, you can't just give me 2 reasons why you like to eat. Eating is like something you do every day.
Health problems if you don't eat.
Health problems if you don't eat. What kind of health problems?
Like you get skinnier.
Get skinnier, anorexia, which is like not eating, right? Lose weight. Osteoporosis, break bones, right? What are some other reasons why you eat? Why you look forward to eating?
It's enjoyable.
It's enjoyable. What's enjoyable about it?
Tastes good.
Tastes good?
Depression.
Hey, when you chew the food, do you enjoy chewing? Yeah, we like to chew. Did you know when you chew, you exercise your tongue and your mouth? When you stop chewing, your muscles also kind of shrink. Ask anybody who's tube fed, and they'll tell you that it gets all weird up here. If they never swallow, because for some reason have a stroke or something, they can't swallow, or ALS or some neurological condition, you drill a hole in the belly, put a little tube in, and you feed people. Their whole upward thing starts to get messed up. Their voice goes. They can't talk quite straight. Because if you don't use it, you lose it. Your esophagus changes. The pipe that connects this to this. Your gag reflex weakens. What I'm trying to say is that we have generally a healthy relationship with breakfast, lunch, and dinner. We have that because intuitively inside of us, we understand. This is important for function of life. We understand from the very beginning. And so we do it. What I'm trying to tell you is that there's another hidden meal every day for you, and that's stress. Should you choose to take it. ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਡੀ tension ਵੀ ਖਾ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. We can eat our tension, our stress. That's a choice. How do you eat food? What do you use?
Hands. Spoon.
Hands, spoon, fork, spork? Any of you sporkers out here? Spoon, fork? That's like a bachelor thing. It's like it's one in thing and you can have 2 in 1. What other implements do you use to eat?
Chopsticks.
Chopsticks! Love chopsticks.
A knife. Yeah.
Yeah. Lots of things. You use tools to eat. Whether those tools are your hands, whether those are your... Let's say you don't have any hands. Do you think it'll be as easy to eat? Do you think you'll want to eat as much if you don't have hands to eat with? It'll be a little harder, right? It'll suddenly, a simple task becomes complicated. You'll have to do more. ਹੋਰ ਕੁਛ ਕਰਨਾ ਪੈਣਾ. ਜੇ ਹੱਥ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਖਾਣਾ ਕੁਛ, you need I can tell you, like, my brother moved out a couple of months ago, and I became the handyman of the house. Hadn't been a handyman in a long time. And one of the reasons why I didn't really love that job, because I didn't have the tools. You need this screw, and you just don't have the right screw. It's just annoying, ਜਦੋਂ tool ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕੰਮ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਚਾਹੀਦਾ, if you don't have the right tool for the right job, it takes longer. You have to go to Home Depot. You got to pick this up, pick that up. So what did I do? I got all the tools I need. I just went out one day and I bought a bunch of tools. Now I like it when Prabjeet or my mom or somebody tells me, hey, this needs to be fixed. I'm excited. Because I got the tools. And because I got the tools, I can do the job. The job doesn't worry me anymore. It's when you don't have the tools to do the job, ਜਦੋਂ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਕੋਲ tool ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ job ਕਰਨ ਵਾਸਤੇ, that the job looks scary. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about stress. Recovery is the act of building a healthy relationship with stress. And a healthy relationship with stress is that. Eat it. Learn to eat it and know that it's making you stronger. Oh, that sounds like a lot of work. How much energy do you think you spend every day seeking out or creating the opportunity to eat food? That includes working, making money. That includes shopping at the grocery store. That includes how much time do you spend? What percentage of your day do you spend in direct or indirectly related to getting the food?
An hour or so. 2 hours.
It may vary, but it may be 5% of the day, 10% of the day. If you're like me, I don't do a lot directly, but I do a ton indirectly. I earn a living. Part of why you need to earn a living is because you need to eat. And those of you on social assistance know that's not particularly pleasant to not have enough to eat. The thing about stress is you can consume it. Stress is just energy. I'll tell you what stress is. It's energy with context. No matter how much stress that it is, if it's a lot of stress, it's still the same. It's energy with the same amount of context. So little window frame. Context. Context is the situation that you put the energy in. So a common thing that I say is the same amount of energy can cook your food or it can burn your house down. Same amount of energy to start the process. Put a fire under a pot with the warm water. It gets boiling, you can cook with that. Same fire, put it next to your couch, suddenly your house is on fire. But it's just energy. It's where you put that fire. Stress, so if it's negative context, let's say it's negative, then it seems like a big deal. But it's not a big deal. The same amount of energy goes into developing this context. This is not much. So what you can do is you can learn to change the context of the energy, and all of a sudden you can have very stressful minus 10,000 units of energy that's like dragging you down, that you're worried about, right? Something you just hate doing, and But a simple change of the context can turn that into positive. It's a lot easier to do that than it is to take 10,000 and make it 0 by venting. Someone asked a question this last week. Should we vent? You know, venting, like kisi gusse ch narazi, kisi na gal karni, just nindya karni, like you just like kind of just say all the negative thing. Duje nu dasne, we tell negative stuff to our friend. Bleh. Yeah, that'll take your negative 10,000. So when you vent, it'll take your negative 10,000 units of energy, and it'll make it like negative 1,000. So you get it all out. But is your life less stressful? What happens when you vent and you just share a bunch of negativity about somebody, with somebody? Yeah.
You get relief, but the situation doesn't change, so it's just recreated.
You get relief, but the situation doesn't change. Does the situation really not change, or did he just make it more complicated? By sharing the wealth of negativity with someone.
Possibly, the situation could possibly change by sharing it, because the person you're sharing it with could provide an assist. But if it was just the act of venting itself,
Yes.
you might have just, like, now you're dependent on a whole new system. Now you need to do this in order to deflate the stress without changing the situation.
You never know who knows who, but one thing is true in life is what goes around always comes around. You share negativity, it's going to grow with interest, and it's going to come back and hit you. In a different way, in a different form, but it will. You reap what you sow. That's the trouble. When you have a bunch of negativity and you share that, it's going to come back with interest over time. So ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਕਿਸੇ ਨੂੰ ਨਿੰਦਿਆ ਕਰਦੇ ਹਾਂ, ਉਹ ਵੱਧਦੀ energy, and then it comes back, and when it comes back, maybe it hits you at minus 50,000. You don't know how it's going to happen, but what's guaranteed it is going to happen. Would it not be easier if inside of you could just take that 10,000 negative and just make it a positive? The ability to do that, that is recovery. That's all the stuff we do in recovery. Connect to self, connect to others. There are people out there that you can share your stuff with, but they're not going to listen to it. If someone tries to do this to me, after about 3 minutes, I let them talk for 3 minutes, and then I stop them. I tell them exactly what they're doing, and that I'm not having it. But I'm happy to elevate them, happy to do something. Say a prayer. Do something to elevate. So you don't have to be because I know if I take someone's negative energy, same thing's going to happen. I'm going to become part of their system, and I'm not going to be happier for it. What I'm trying to say here is that if you want to be able to eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you need to be able to change the context on the energy that what stress actually is. The big problem is never that big. Any big problem is just this. The amount of energy. So if you've had like a massive relationship problem, let's say you've been in a relationship for, I don't know, 10 years. Right? You hear about those relationships that 10 years, ex, didn't go well, got divorced, right? Well, that's just more energy. But same scenario. The resentment prayer from AA, there's a video on that. It's a great way to change the context. What do you do in the resentment prayer? It's pretty simple. You ask God or some higher power that I want to let go of this resentment. Step 1, wanting to let go of the resentment. Step 2, See that this person has hurt me, maybe, in some way, because maybe they're spiritually ill. उन्हें अध्यात्मिक कोई बीमारी लगी है. Step 3. See them as you would see a sick friend who's ill, who needs attention. Ask for the same compassion and patience that you would have for a sick friend, for this person. Step 4. You ask God to take away that energy, that negativity. Step 5. I'm just telling you how to do it. It works. Step 5. Pray to God to make you useful to that person. Help me, this person who really I'm angry at, help me to be useful to them. Try it. Step 7 or step 6. Pray for that person that they get everything that you wanted for yourself. Pray that they get it too. It's a formula, and it works very well. It's the resentment prayer. That's a system for changing intense negativity. So this says negative 100,000, and changing it into positive. You're ahead. You're up 200,000. It's pretty good. With like 5 seconds of work. Versus finding some poor person, to listen to your venting for hours and hours and hours, and then having it all hit you at 10 times more energy, negatively, in 5 years, 1 year. That's how friendships break, is when we overly load with our own stuff. And they don't know how to support us. That's how friendships break or become brittle. So, the only way you'll be able to develop a healthy relationship with stress is if you develop tools to shift the context of energy that constitutes stress. Stop viewing it. It's like a sandwich, right? Good energy. Energy is good. We need energy. But it's all, what do we do with it? Do I make a donut? Or do I make a healthy meal? Same amount of heat. It's context. And as you do recovery, all these videos, they just have different tools, different things to try. Not one method works for everybody. In AA, they use a lot of prayer. Because it works. There's lots of things out there. Tapping. You do the tapping. Let it go. Put a mantra with it. Help me to see this person is just acting that way because they're ill. And you'll find that the energy shifts. There's a million ways to shift the energy, but what you have to do is make a choice. What kind of person you want to be? You want to be a person who runs away from their stress, complains about the world, and everyone in it, about how they've wronged you and you're in this pit? Or do you want to be a champion? You want to be king of your castle? Or you want to be the victim? A victim will run away from stress, find people to deal with it for them. A champion will recognize that this is the challenge in front of me. If you're religious, this is commonly said in religion, God never gives you more than what you can handle. Right? Rab kuch aur nahi dinda, unna hi dinda jinna andar paida ho sakda. So, if you adopt that approach of a champion, you view stress as a meal to be eaten to get stronger. Because let's say I was working in the gym and I want 6-pack or something, or big biceps, but all I ever do is work with the 1-pound weights. Is that going to get me to the big muscles? 1-pound weight? Is that going to get me to the big muscles? It's going to make me feel good. I can do it. But there's no stress. So I'll get really good with 1 pound, But if anyone ever gives me 50, I'm going to go, you have to work your way up. Oh, that's too heavy. That's cool. You're always going to have those muscles, though. Unless you're willing to take on stress. And no talk about stress can be complete with what the opposite of that, which is what a lot of people with addiction do, is they just keep living in stress. So the example is the guy who works out, I want big muscles, and all they ever do is keep lifting heavy weights 24/7. Are they going to have a body left? What's going to happen to them if they just non-stop keep lifting heavy weights? What's going to happen? Ki hoga?
Fatigue.
Just fatigue?
Fatigue from the muscle.
Injury. They'll break. The way you eat, it's not like you're eating every day, or you're eating every day, but you're not eating all day. Science has shown eating all the time throughout the day is actually going to increase your weight. That's not how we evolved. We need periods of time after we've taken the food to digest it. And then we eat again. That's the healthy way to eat. Unhealthy way to eat is to eat little bits all the time and not ever have any kind of meal. There's all sorts of science around intermittent fasting and other things around how to eat. In the old cultures, you just eat when the sun is up because you couldn't see anything when it's dark. That's how humans actually evolved. You just eat during the light. You don't eat during dark. So if you saturate yourself with stress, everyday stress, no break, no relaxation, you're going to break your body. You're going to break your system. Everyone needs a break. And what's that break in recovery? That break is your daily practice. The daily practice gives you the relaxation that you need, connect to self, connect to others, to bring down the stress so you can go back into it. But you need to create time. You need to create space. Without that, you're going to progressively weaken your body and your mind. So if you're like in the midst of lots of stress, and you're like, Dr. Gill, I could never possibly get out of this. What, you don't have 30 seconds? You don't have a minute to do meditation? You don't have 10 minutes you can go to a walk? You never go to the toilet? Because no one bothers you in the toilet. 5 minutes right there. Everyone has time. And what I'm saying is just use a bit of that time to do something recovery. And what you'll find is that over time you develop an increased capacity to deal with stress. People ask me all the time, Dr. Gill, how do you do that job? Listen to all this crazy stuff. Because it is kind of crazy. Wild. Wild is what people have in their lives. And the answer is just you build up a self-therapy practice. I have a significant self-therapy practice. So I can deal with people's problems. All the time. But if I stop my practice, this Dr. Gill will be gone. Another person who looks like Dr. Gill will be really, really mean. And not a happy camper. That's who's going to be standing here if I stop my daily practice. But Dr. Gill, that's a lot of work every day. I don't know if I want to do all that. What, you don't eat breakfast every day? You don't eat lunch every day? You can train your body. You can train your mind. It's a decision. That's a choice. That's what I can't do. I can't make the choice for you. I can tell you how to do it. I can even tell you maybe a little bit of what to do. Lots of teachers in the world can tell you what to do, but nobody can tell you and make you do it. That's a choice. So, stress recovery is when you can eat stress for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to get stronger. Recovery is when you shift your viewpoint on stress. Financial stress. Oh, I'm under so much financial pressure. You know what I've found? If I give money to someone who's under intense financial pressure, it's just a matter of time before they get under more financial pressure. Because they don't know what to do with their money. That's why they're under financial pressure. It's the choices we make. Yeah, this is going to make you upset. Sorry. But it's the choices we make. I never loan anybody money who's under financial pressure. I make them work for it, though. If I have some job for them to do. Here, you want $10? Go. Okay, go. Can you mow the lawn or something? No? Because we use responsibly what we work for. But the point is that there isn't a free lunch in life, but there's life is very bountiful, very plentiful. And when people learn recovery, those people under immense financial stress, all of a sudden money just comes to them. Opportunities come. I don't know from where. I've just seen it happen, not once, but like lots of times, because I've been doing this a while. It's written in the promises. Economic security will no longer trouble us. What's it say in the promises? We will no longer fear economic insecurity. That's written in the promises of AA. And that's true. It happens all the time. People enter recovery and they lose their fear of money and not having enough. And all of a sudden, they don't have a ton, but they have enough to live. So a good way to break a friendship is to involve the money into it. That's an aside. Oh, that could be a Nam Academy unto itself. We talk about money, but we won't. So, stress. Any questions, comments? Before we close that.
I always go to the gym, so like when I feel stressed something, I'll just go and work out.
Yeah.
Hit the steam room.
So this is a common thing that people do. When they're stressed, they go to the gym. In the West, that's a common thing. Not a bad thing. It's good to exercise. But remember, when you exercise, a lot of people, they vent negative energy by exercising. Trouble with that is there's too much negative energy all around. So it just quickly recollects. We actually have to change the context of the energy, and then it will stop accumulating. That's why you'll get really excited to eat it, is because you can actually definitively deal with it permanently. When you have that ability, and that's so what I tell people who like to exercise, I tell them exercise, but do a mantra. Say some, you're doing push-ups like, I will eat my stress, or I can do this. I am the king of my castle. I am the king of my castle. Tell yourself stuff like that. As you exercise, now you're shifting the belief system, the value system. From I'm worthless, which is the default of most people. I'm horrible, I'm bad, I'm worthless, I'm this, I'm that. But you're adding a counterweight. Those negative belief systems channel energy and they make it really horrible, painful, fast. So yeah, you vent out the energy, but those belief systems will just channel more energy and it'll grow again. And that's why that negative obsession comes back. So, if you like running, if you like exercise, like walking, do a mantra. That's like one. I never walk anywhere without a mantra. I'm always doing prayers in my head. I only talk here because I have to. I prefer not to talk. I prefer to be quiet. But the point is, whatever activity you do it with in mind that, hey, can I do like if I'm breathing, this too shall pass. This too shall pass. It's a good mantra. This too shall pass. Changes the context. This will never end. That's another one of those negative belief systems. This will never end. Ekade need mukda. And so you tell yourself, this too shall pass. Yeah, this will end. There is light at the end of the tunnel. Don't know when, but it's there. Just have to wait. Be patient. Can't say enough about prayers. Prayers are individualized psychotherapy. Very effective. So that's just my comment on venting. You know, like, yeah, spreading negativity. Lots of people do that. But a lot of people do like venting in other ways. They vent into the journal. Same rules apply. They vent into exercise. They vent into work. That's where workaholism comes from. And all of it does not change the context, and so that system of generating stress never changes. Actually, it grows, just like a mortgage. If you don't pay your interest or your mortgage, you owed $50,000, but in 10 years you owe. Man, these banks, they're smart. You gave them 50,000, or they gave you 50,000, and now you owe them like 500,000. 10 years. It's just interest. That's the trouble with these belief systems, is they grow and they expand like balloons over time. We need to change them. That's part of recovery. That's why in recovery we do a lot of affirmations, mantras, all these things. Good to exercise. One of the best reasons to exercise is actually good physical fitness will optimize mental fitness. But it alone does not optimize mental fitness. Lots of people with anorexia, eating disorder problems, they exercise, they're super fit, but they're mentally very ill. Holistic recovery for all. Holistic doesn't mean we're all smoking pot and having fun and, some people think that. But quickly they come to Nam, they realize that holistic means mind, body, and soul. And so that's the soul part sometimes gets lost in the exercise as a main coping strategy. These are all things that I found. Take them if they're helpful. Leave them if they're not. I'm going to leave it at that. The thing has gotten a bit long, but it's good. Stress. There we go.